In today's video, I'll be talking about this Walther P1. This is a post World War II Walther P38. So the original Walther P38 was, I think it was designed or developed in 1938, and it was put into production from 1939 up to the very end of World War II, which was around August of 1945 in Europe. This was a German pistol, so it was produced from 1939 till the end of World War II, in Europe, that is. So basically, this gun was featured in a lot of television shows, movies, from I guess 1948 to all the way up to 2023. Some of the movies that it was featured in was like in 1948 it was Victorious Return. You also had another one in Mothra in 1960, Big Jake 1971, The Inglourious Bastards in 1978. Not the one that was released later by Kieran Torrentino, I think. Not that one. It was featured in the movie Rocketeer 1991, Ghost Ship 2002, John Wick Chapter 4 starring Keanu Reeves in 2023, about a year ago. In television shows, it was seen in popular television shows like Mission Impossible, all the seasons, season 1 to 4 from 1966 onwards, and the most recent television show was, I think, The Continental from the World of John Wick in 2023, and I also saw this in a anime television show back in the 1980s. I think it was called Lupin 3, and I used to watch that anime show all the time, and I always saw this gun. I always wanted a Walther P38, but this is not really a Walther P38. This is actually a Walther P1, which was, let's see when this was made. This was made in 1978. Chamber for 9mm. This is the original magazine that it came with. It came with two 8-round magazines like this. This one is a Pro Mag that I bought at a website called CDNN Investment back in, I think 2006 or 2007. I don't know if that website still exists, but I always used to go to that website and buy parts for guns and magazines. I also bought this extra slide at CDNN Investments. This one here. This slide was produced in, it says 11/79. I think it was November 1979. So this was a later production Walther pistol. And this one's produced in, I don't know, it says 4/78. So maybe around April 1978 in West Germany. These models were produced from, I think it was produced from 1957 to 2000. And the Walther P38 was produced from 1939 to 1945. And the difference between the two is that this has an anodized aluminum frame. But the original Walther P38 had a steel blued frame. That's the difference. I think the steel frame is a lot more durable than the aluminum frame, and they probably cost more, but this used more modern techniques to produce a gun like this. It does hold back on the last round. So after you fire last round, it opens up like that. And there's 2 recoil springs that enable you to rack the slide back. It's a little bit more difficult to remove the recoil springs on this gun compared to other types of pistols, because most pistols just have 1 spring and it's very easy to take out. Sorry I can't disassemble this gun because YouTube does not like people disassembling guns and showing people how to disassemble and assemble weapons. Maybe if you want me to make a video like that, I could probably make it on Rumble, but on YouTube, for some reason, it is prohibited. There's a locking block right here, which keeps this barrel fixed. This gun is inherently accurate because of the way the barrel is fixed to the frame. You could replace the barrel, it's possible. So when I first shot this, I did have some reliability issues, and I did have to oil the gun, and then it became reliable after that. One of the problems with aluminum frames is that, or receivers, is that it gets, when you put oil on it, for some reason the oil goes away much more quickly than using a steel receiver or a frame. I don't know why that is, but all I know is that aluminum tends to dry stuff out much quicker. That's why, that's one thing I don't like about the properties of aluminum. So there's some kind of finish on this which prevents it from corroding. You can't use bluing on a aluminum. You could use something called, you could add a finish called an anodized finish, but you can't add bluing. Bluing is only for like ferrous type of metals like iron and steel and stuff like that. That would be ferrous metal. This is not ferrous metal. I guess one of the advantages of having a aluminum frame is that it's lighter. That's one of the good things about it. The gun becomes lighter, but I guess it's less durable. And today's, a lot of guns are made out of aluminum frames, like the Beretta 92 FS. Other types like the SIG 229, 226, and stuff like that. They have aluminum frames. Some of them even have plastic frames, like Glock or something like that. Yeah, I played a lot of video games that use this gun, like Day of Defeat, the what was it called, Half-Life 2 version, Day of Defeat. I think that's where I saw this gun a lot and used it in the game, and I wanted a gun like this because I saw a lot of television shows back in the 80s and stuff like that, and it looked pretty interesting. It was featured in games like Medal of Honor 1999. I remember playing that. Battlefield 5 2018. And Battlefield 2042, released in 2021. And as a weapon, this is pretty decent. The only thing that's lacking about it is that it has a single stack magazine, which means you can only put 8 rounds in it, and you can't use bullets like hollow points and stuff like that, because the feed ramp definitely has a problem feeding it. This was not built to accommodate hollow points or flathead ammo or anything like that. It was just designed to accommodate full metal jacket ammunition like that. And this is a safety for it. You could use it like that. The takedown lever is here. You just press down and then you remove the magazine, and you could just take the slide out like that. It's quite simple. Very easy to take apart and clean. And another thing which makes this gun old-fashioned is that you have to use this heel magazine release. This is quite different from a modern pistol, which has the magazine release right here. You just press this like in a Beretta, and then it would just come out. For this thing, it's on the heel right now. I guess that's the European. That's how a lot of European pistols were back then. And the Luger P38 is the same. You have to remove the magazine from here. So there's a spring that keeps this tension here and lets you use this magazine thing. And yeah, I didn't really pay a lot of money for this. I think I paid about roughly, who knows, maybe $200 for this back in 2006. These were became available in the as MILSUP, or military surplus. And pretty cheap. It was very inexpensive. I don't know how much they go for now. Depending on the condition, you could pay anywhere from, I guess, $300 to $700. For a bad condition, maybe $300. This one is in very good condition, I think. It functions pretty good. I bought an extra slide because, you know, I always wanted, you know, I mean, you can't go wrong with it. Just have an extra slide. It wasn't even that much money. It was about maybe $50 or something. It was pretty cheap. So I just bought it, and a whole bunch of magazines for it as well, because it was not expensive. And as for the production rate of this gun, is basically, I'll highlight it. This gun was produced in 1939 to 1945. The first batch, P38. Second batch was called the P1, produced in 1957 to 2000. And the amount that was produced was 1 million were produced altogether. So about 20,408 P38s and P1s were produced in a span of, let's see how many years. Let's see, years, like 49 years. 1 million were produced. For the Luger P08, this gun replaced the Luger P08 because I think it was a lot less expensive to produce this than a Luger. Luger requires a lot of machining, precision machining and stuff like that, and it costs a lot more to produce, and there's a lot more parts in it, which makes it more expensive to produce as well. And for the Luger, it was produced from 1900 to 1953. So the Luger was designed in 1898 by Georg Luger. In 53 years, the total production rate was 3 million pistols. That would come out to 52,631 Lugers per year. So more Lugers were produced than this thing, basically. So there are more Lugers than P38s, but these are less valuable than the Luger because I guess the Lugers are older. They are more accurate, I think. And I think that's the reason, and people want them for some, well, because it was used in World War I and World War II. You know, it was used in a lot of other wars as well, so people want it, and As for movies, I saw this gun in Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade, which was released in 1989. I saw a lot of Walther P38s being used in that movie, and that's another reason why I always wanted one of these. But yeah, it's pretty functional. You know, not only does it look, I mean, not only is it just an antique or a vintage pistol, it could also be used for self-defense if you need it. It's not a bad thing to have if you can get one. As you can see, this is a feed ramp. I think this is mostly just for full metal jacket. I've tried to use other types of ammunition in it, and it just had a problem cycling different types of ammo, like hollow points or whatever. The good thing about this thing is, after you fire your last shot, it opens like this, and then you could just take out the magazine, put in a new one like here, and as long as you have a bullet in it, it would just cycle back into battery like that. That's one of the things that's good about it, but it is lacking for a modern pistol. It was extensively used in World War II. It was probably used in other wars like the Korean War and Vietnam as well, I'm sure. And it was used. The German police used it. The German army used it. West German army used it from, I guess, 1957 to 2000. Were probably around the 1990s. These were mostly used for like police and not for the military. Military probably got better pistols than that in the 1990s, but officially it was not used after 2000. So it's a pretty interesting piece of history to have, but this is definitely not the original P38. It's the one that was produced after the war. So that's what I want to share with you today. If you have any thoughts or questions, you could leave it in the comment section below, and thank you for watching.